All right, I want to talk more about Astro Bot. Obviously, I really like it. Surprise, surprise, another person recommending this game. It's only been out since Friday, so I'm not going to get into spoilers or anything like that. I am going to talk a little bit about some of the characters you can unlock, but I'll give you a heads up first. Really, the game is special. I recommend everybody play it specifically because chances are you're watching this, you're very online, you're very clued into gaming news and stuff like that. You're reading headlines, you're watching streamers, you're watching YouTubers, whatever. We all have a tendency to get very cynical, whereas this game, I think, is just like pure, almost obnoxious joy. It's almost exhaustingly cheerful and joyous, but it can warm your cold, dead heart. I think even the most cynical person, the most cynical player can have a smile playing this. I know that sounds so corny, but I just kind of want to put that out there as my opening statement so you kind of know what to expect as I talk about this game. I think if you don't like platformers, if you only want to play games with murder, then no, this isn't really for you. But I think if you're like me and you grew up with platformers, this is just a damn good one. Yes, it does lean on nostalgia a lot, and like technically it does feel like an advertisement for PlayStation in some instances, but the construction of it and how well made it is and how fun it is and how good it feels to play, I think totally outweighs that. I think Astro Bot is just like top tier fun video game. Fun, F-U-N, remember that word? The most important thing here. I think it's got a satisfying gameplay loop with collecting characters, bringing them back to your base, and then using all those characters to essentially almost Pikmin style help you accomplish something in that little hub world, the costumes, the unlocks, all that. That stuff's great. The actual platforming and mechanics are well built and paced out really well. Levels will introduce a really, really brilliant, fun concept that is just for that level. And then they move on because they don't want you to get bored. And they made this amazing thing that you do in like one specific level, and then you just keep going. It's stuff like that. It's the abilities you unlock and how, yes, those you access multiple times throughout the game, but in a way where you don't get sick of them. My only complaint is that I turned off the motion controls. They were like annoying, and I don't like them. Also, the way the levels are designed, hidden with secrets, where even if you find a little dead end or you just go in a weird corner, the game will still show you something or give you coins, or you'll see a little bit of detail to the feedback of the game. The DualSense, yes, is a big part of it with the freaking annoying sounds that come out of it, which, like, you know, not everybody loves that, but also the use of the controller, the haptic feedback, the DualSense and stuff like that, but also on screen, the amount of things you can interact with, the amount of like physics and objects and stuff you can smack around, the colors of it all. It makes the game just have a really distinctly tactile feel, which is a word I haven't used to describe a game in quite some time. To the music, which I played Astro's Playroom, and that game, which I recommended to a lot of you guys and nobody listened to me, but the fact that it's got like brainworms type music, like stuff that just gets stuck in your head and it stays there forever. I've been whistling a lot of the themes and stuff from various levels here in this game, which the main motif, and it's from Astro's Playroom as well, like the main theme, kind of reminds me of Starlight from Muse. Is that just me? Can we play like 5 seconds of that? To the boss battles, which are just incredible bits of spectacle. I know I just use spectacle for Space Marines too, but it's a good time for like big crazy things happening on screen. These bosses are fun, incredibly unique to beat, and also just visually really cool on screen. Not to mention the fact that it's like weirdly violent. Like every boss, Astro like kicks their fucking ass. Like Astro literally like punches one until it like flies up into space. He's breaking people's teeth. He's kicking monkeys off of a building. Like it's pretty wild. But a lot of it, like short levels, long levels, I just dig all of it. It had a water level that wasn't annoying. It's got some of the best like spooky Halloween levels I've seen in a long time. It's just got the feelings right. It's got that tactile feel, like I said before. Again, it's just really well made, and it feels like the people behind it, Asobi, really get it. Shout out real quick, just a little plug, the Friends Per Second podcast, a podcast I do with my friends like Skillup and Lucy James. We interviewed Nicholas Doucette from Asobi. He's the leader behind the team. And yes, it just seems like they get it. What I found really interesting talking to him was that, like, you know, the emphasis was like they know they are making a game that might be somebody's first platformer. So it's got a good balance of difficulty. Like I said in my before you buy video, there are some levels, some optional levels, some hidden levels that are really freaking brutal. There are some that just like get you real sweaty. And I like that. And I found myself really trying to beat them because they're short bursts, right, that require perfect precision. And that can get a little addictive, but also because I wanted to find and unlock a little person, that little person I was pursuing, you know, that Astro Bot. So I will spoil a little of these right now, just a heads up. There's a lot of great stuff here. There's a lot of omissions, right? Not really like, you know, a Final Fantasy character. Like there's things that are missing. Returnal, like Celine technically isn't in it, which is weird because you have things like Resogun, which is a really, really cool inclusion. But like for me, I know probably a lot of you guys want to know my obvious ones, my favorites. The Metal Gear ones are incredible. The little animations they do, I love that. The fact that Dante is in it is awesome, but specifically the fact that it's Dante with the Devil May Cry 1 outfit and his little animation as he's shooting, juggling a marionette puppet. As somebody who really loved the original Devil May Cry and has that like PS2 nostalgia for it, it's little things like that that show me that they get it. From the fact that like Raziel, obviously, that's very cool from Soul Reaver, but also that they got Kane. I'm happy. But then weirder stuff you don't expect that's just kind of like the legacy of PlayStation or just stuff that was hosted on the platform. Like I think her name was like Ooh La La from Space Channel 5. That was a Dreamcast game originally, but it was cool to see them here. Mr. Mosquito. Like I there was a lot, like when I got that, I was like, is that Mr. Mosquito? What the hell? It has a lot of those. A lot of really interesting throwbacks and to be honest, I didn't know every single one of these, like, you know, 200 or so, whatever cameo characters, but it's a lot of really cool, interesting references. But then it's all the magic of how the game celebrates a lot of the newer stuff. I wish we got more of those hero-based levels, these levels that are based around a popular PlayStation character. They're cool and actually like really genuinely made me smile, but I actually could have used more of them, especially because like I really like the Astro Bot like composer like remix of famous video game tunes and themes. But with all of that nostalgia, just if you got rid of that, I still just think this game is really fun to play. But I'll also like not lie that like the nostalgia does help. It did add some of the fun factor. Knowing all these characters, being obsessed with a lot of these characters for my entire life, it's very cool to see some pop up that you wouldn't expect and see them represented in fun, quirky little ways. Little references, little things that they do, little animations. It's just the fact that also like the industry and like business deals transcended a lot of stuff. The fact that Crash Bandicoot is here, and not only is Crash Bandicoot in it, but he does the suck it dance. Like he does his dance and he does the suck it, right? So it's like everybody's mad about video games like not being like how they used to, but Crash is doing the moves, okay? So relax. I gotta stop there because I almost would want to just do a video where I talk about every single little one of my favorite character reveals. But I will say that, again, a big part of the game, what I really liked is the pacing and how it feels like it just keeps getting better and better. With every boss being even crazier, more larger than life and more compelling, to every kind of reward level be better and better, that the hero character level, to every single little discovery you make in each little nebula galaxy thing, to then discovering like the secret worlds. It just felt like it consistently got better and better and better to the end. The hub world gets more interesting. Getting access to more things in that hub world just gets more and more interesting as you go. And it just gets you hook, line, and sinker. I still look tired because I was like really hooked on like really completing the hell out of this game. And I think that's a testament to just how fun it is and how much that it really works. The fact that you can run around in like the hunter costume from Bloodborne, or like you can run around as a little Jack from Jack and Daxter, like stuff like that. My only other complaint I would say is that, at least for me, I unlocked the skin shop a little bit deeper into the game than I would have liked. Also, it took me a long time to really garner a bunch of good skins, where I wish I could have been running around from the beginning with goofy, quirky skins. A little bit more like a Little Big Planet, where you have a little bit more of that player expression right from the start. But otherwise, it's something I recommend you play at some point. The ending is fantastic. I'm not going to spoil it. I posted this on Twitter and like people read into it too much. It's not that deep, but like for me, the end, and this isn't a spoiler, trust me, it felt like this like Avengers Endgame level moment where it was just so much happening and it was so much excitement and it was so thrilling. Like I just essentially pictured being in a movie theater and seeing people screaming. Like I'm not saying like Jim Ryan comes through a Doctor Strange portal or anything crazy like that, but just the feeling, the swell of it, you know, it just feels like you'd be in a movie theater and people will be like, yeah, you know. And to get serious for a second and get a little bit more industry analyst bullshit armchair expert person here, I do hope that Sony sees hopefully the success of this and thinks a little bit, because you know we had like the failure of Concord last week, like a disastrous type thing, and then we have something like this that players embrace: simple, raw, pure fun, and not a live service game. I think there's something here. I think they're really onto something. I think Astro as a character started as a little promotional thing and like accidentally became this bigger thing. I don't think he has the appeal, like the sauce of something like a Banjo or a Croc or a Crash Bandicoot or hell, even a Blinks the Time Sweeper. But it's really everything around him. It's really Asobi that I'm a fan of. The way they build these games and how fun they are to play. So I just hope there's a real big future in that. When we talked to the developer, he did said that they are considering adding more content and stuff like that. He wouldn't spill the beans on like what they're working on next, but yeah. The only other thing I wanted to link some reading for you guys because, like, you know, sometimes some reading and some homework is good. This is from The Gamer. It's an article by James Troughton. It says, Astro Bot isn't a celebration, it's a graveyard, which I think is a banger headline. You can read the article. I don't agree with every single aspect of it, but I think Astro is weird for how many characters and franchises and PlayStation things it celebrates that PlayStation just actively isn't taking advantage of anymore, that Sony isn't utilizing. Hiroki Totoki, their new head, did go on record like a week or so ago saying they don't have enough IP or their own creative intellectual property, but they have tons and tons of it. And this game is proof of that. Obviously, legal reasons, different rights, different things like get complicated, but there are so many franchises that they're just sitting on, and the game lets you collect all of these and it celebrates them, and yet they're not around. Some of the most exciting little characters and pickups in this game reference something that hasn't been on like 2 generations of PlayStation platforms. So it's weird. So it's another thing, like positively, I hope they learn from it. I hope they see it, they get it, and they go for it. There are franchises that are, in my opinion, unfinished, stories that could continue. And it's not just me being like, I wish they bring back this just for nostalgia. Like there's stuff that still has more story to tell, more fun to give out there, a variety of different franchises. But I think I've talked enough about a little baby game, a little game for kids. I'm kidding. But I have said enough here. If you like what I'm doing here, I just kind of ramble and talk about stuff I love. If you want to check out the before you buy video I did for like first reactions after like finishing it, you could check that out as well. But I just wanted to sit here, think on it, and talk about some of the best things about the game. So I really want to know what you guys think. This is an interesting one. I feel like it is very much one of those things where it comes out, reviews are all amazing, and then some players end up having issues with it, or some players are skeptical of some things because the game got overwhelming praise. So I want to know where you fall, and if you jumped in this weekend, I want to know what your first reactions are, your favorite level, your favorite character, anything like that. There's a good conversation to be had here, so let me know. Let's talk down there. You know, you can always find me on social media as well. It's my name. It's the name of this channel and the Friends Per Second podcast. That'll be linked if you want to check out that interview with the director of the game. Would really appreciate the love there. But thank you guys for being here. Clicking the like button helps. If you get what I'm trying to do, just yap about shit I like. That's it. That's all we're doing here. I'm Jake Baldino. Subscribe because video games, pizza's on me.